It's Thermal Soundwaves, the natural alternative to fast food radio. C.Truth here with you, doing a special feature on some of the filmmakers, producers, writers, and creators coming up and behind this year's Conch International Film Festival 2022. Right now, joining us is Miss France-Luce Benson, who is a playwright, a screenwriter. She's done work on stage. She's very, very skilled with the pen. A lot of awards and a lot of accolades have come her way. And she's joining us right now on the program. How you doing?
Hi.
Tell everybody a little bit about your background and where you're from.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me. It's great to be here. Well, I grew up in Miami, but I was born in Africa. It was Zaire at the time. It's the Democratic Republic of Congo. And both of my parents are from Haiti, born and raised. And we moved to Miami when I was about 7. We moved around a lot. So it's always complicated when people ask me where you're from, because it's really not a simple answer for me. But Miami is kind of where I grew up, and I moved to New York in my 20s after undergrad, and was there for quite a while. And I'm based in Los Angeles now. And I started as a playwright. Well, I should back up. I really started as an actor. I started acting when I was about 12, and my bachelor's was, I did a BFA in theater as an actor, but I also started writing around that time. When I first moved to New York, I was doing both, and I just fell in love with playwriting and just naturally gravitated to that. I just wanted to focus. I really wanted to learn the craft, and so yeah, I've been primarily a playwright for most of my career, and started doing TV a few years ago, and done a little bit of film, but mostly TV and theater.
Definitely, and you've gotten quite the accolades: award-winning playwright, screenwriter, the Lillies 2021 Lorraine Hansberry Award, the NYSCA Individual Artist Award, 2-time Bay Area Playwrights Festival semi-finalist, a Dramatists Guild Fellow, Sony Pictures Television Diverse Writers Fellow, a staff writer for Viacom CBS, and it goes on and on and on. Where did your passion and your just love of just writing, of performing, and the arts, where did that start for you?
Well, performing was I danced when I was young. I always wanted attention, and I was always creative. I was one of those kids that was like, during the holidays, write the plays and perform, and but I took my first theater class when I was in 6th grade, and I didn't really know what it was. Some of my friends were doing it, so I was like, okay, I'll do it too. And it really it felt so natural to me to be on stage. And I never forget, like I had to do an audition, and I didn't know what improv was. I had never done it before. The instructor gave a very quick explanation, and then told us, to be puppies in a pet store, and I didn't even think twice. It just felt so natural to me, and I had my difficulties growing up. There were things at home that were challenging, and then also being a first generationer, that whole drama of not knowing where I fit in, and so when I was in theater class, when I was acting, that was where I felt the safest. That's where I felt completely free to express myself. And when I think back now, I feel like, I wouldn't have been able to articulate this back then, but on stage, ironically, performing, I felt my authentic self. I wasn't self-conscious. I didn't have fears. I mean, I just loved it. And I loved performing plays and reading plays and just loved the whole craft of theater. When I started writing plays, I started writing plays in earnest when I was working on my undergrad in college. And it was mostly out of just getting tired of not even being considered for certain roles as one of the few Black actors in the program, getting the same types of roles over and over again, getting typecast, along with friends of mine, the other Black students. And so at first it was just out of me wanting to write the kinds of roles that I wanted to play. And then I just, I discovered that I was not bad at it, and I was encouraged. It was reflected back to me by professors, by my peers, that I was actually pretty good at it, and so I just kept at it. And same thing in New York. I was primarily initially writing plays because I just didn't like what was available to me as a Black actor, and what was available to my peers, who I thought were so talented and could do so much more. And also at the same time, the first full-length play that I wrote was my senior year, and it was like my final project. We were tasked to write and perform a solo piece. And I was going to write a play about Michelle Duvalier, who was the wife of the dictator of Haiti, Baby Doc. And the more that I delved into the research of that dictatorship and Haiti's history, and how music and dance and art, like how it's all interwoven, I just couldn't just write. So I wanted to write a full play. And I pitched it to my advisor, and by that time I had written a few things. I'd written a few one acts, and he felt that I could handle it. And so I wrote a full-length play called Silence of the Mambo. And it takes place on the night of the coup in Haiti in the 80s. And it's over the course of the evening, following this one family. And we find out the mother of the family, who I played, was raped by Tonton Makut many years ago and never told anybody. And, over the course of the evening, she, unburdens herself with this. And I incorporate a lot of spirituality. The family practices voodoo, which is also something, the more that I researched, because growing up in Miami, when I grew up in Miami, it was very anti-Haitian, and just anytime anybody spoke of Haiti, of Haitians in the media, wherever, it was negative. They were all stereotypes. It was really derogatory. And so the more that I learned about my history and our culture, I wanted to celebrate it. And so that was the first full-length play I wrote, and it just, the way people responded to it, it kind of blew me away. I didn't expect people to.
It's a heavy piece.
Yeah, well, and just it was my senior project. I didn't think anybody else would see it besides the other students, but the people from all over started coming, and it was this word of mouth. And then I was given a little grant by someone who saw it to perform it throughout Miami. And so that's kind of what started my playwriting career, because that did end up being the first play that I produced. And that also just sparked my artistic mission. I felt that it was really important for me to tell our stories as a Haitian American and to correct, revisionist history and really to uplift and celebrate our culture. So that really was like a driving force behind my work as a playwright.
Definitely. It's Thermal Soundwaves, and we're talking to playwright, artist France-Luce Benson here with us on the program. If you would like to share some of the difficulties you said that you had in the household coming up, and also your current work as far as the subject matter that you're tackling with that.
Sure. Let's see. I want to protect people who aren't here to.
Sure.
But I mean, growing up, I think it all boils down to, honestly, my parents, just doing the best that they could, like many immigrant parents, besides what all parents have to deal with. And then besides what all Black parents have to deal with raising kids in America. But then on top of that, immigrant parents also have the added challenge of adjusting to this new country and trying to find their footing. And, again, in Miami, it was so anti-Haitian. It was, and so my parents did the best that they could, but, they... they could be severe and restrict, and I'll just leave it at that. They could be.
Yeah, I can relate. I know what you're talking about. So yeah.
Haitian or Caribbean people listening, like, enough said.
Yeah, we all know.
So there was that, and then in school it was just not fitting in. The Black American kids didn't like me. I didn't fit in with the white kids. I didn't, and just like, all that struggle. So that's kind of what it boiled down to.
Gotcha. Coming to and bringing it forward now, what are you currently working on, and what are you tackling as far as that subject matter?
Oh my gosh, good question. Well, I'm working on a new pilot. I just wrapped. I was just in a writer's room for a new show, which I can't really talk about yet, unfortunately. But I was just in a writer's room for a show with CBS, and now I'm working on a pilot about a woman from the Caribbean. I created a fictional Caribbean island for this, but she comes from a violent past and kind of rehabilitated herself and reinvented herself, and eventually became a yoga instructor, and she's kind of a celebrity yoga instructor. And she ends up taking a job at a resort on this Caribbean island because she discovers that her father's death when she was young, and her mother's in prison, her mother was framed, and she finds out the family responsible for what happened to her parents run this resort. And so she takes this job to kind of be the director of wellness, but she's really going to avenge her family. And while she's there, she discovers that they're also running a trafficking ring there, a sex trafficking ring, and just kind of feels compelled to do something about it. So that's one of the things that I'm working on. And I've been writing a trilogy about the Haitian Revolution. So I'm working on the third and final play of that trilogy. And I'm also the commission that I received from Atlantic Theater Company. I'm writing a play about a family dealing with mental health and the history of mental health in their family over the course of generations. So most of what I write, I do write a lot from my cultural perspective. They're not always Haitian characters or takes place in Haiti, but I often write from that perspective. But I also tend to write things that are that explore themes around social justice. My work is usually very character driven, and I'm really interested in how we recover from trauma, how it affects us over generations, over time. And I try to write about things that, especially in the Black community and the Caribbean community, that are not often talked about. So sexual abuse and assault, mental health, those kinds of things, just family dynamics, that's what I'm working on right now.
Gotcha. Definitely. It's Thermal Soundwaves, C.Truth here. We are spotlighting some of the officially selected filmmakers in this year's Conch International Film Festival. And we're talking to Miss France-Luce Benson, who's done some wonderful work, especially on the Haitian experience, which I think it's great that you've done that, because there's a lot that people don't know and a lot of misconceptions. So as much truth that we can get out with that, the more the better. So I applaud you for that. And final couple questions. How do you feel about being involved in the Conch International Film Festival, being one of the selected filmmakers of this year's festival? And the second question is, what do you feel on progress, if there has been any, as far as roles for women, for women of Caribbean descent, of Haitian descent, and so forth, and what do we need to see going forward in regards to all of that?
Ooh, okay. Well, the first question, I'm psyched. I'm so excited to be part of the festival. I'm honored to be asked. I've known Magali for so long. I've known Magali, oh my God, going on 20 years. And I love everything she does. I admire her, and I think it's amazing what she's created with Conch. So I'm really just honored and delighted to be a part of it. Progress, I'm hopeful, because it's definitely still disproportionate in terms of representation for, Black women, Black characters, people from the Caribbean, people from Haiti, but it's changing. When I was growing up, there was nothing. There was very few roles for Black people, period, let alone, someone from the Caribbean, someone from Africa. So, I think I'm hopeful. I watched that show, which Magali, who created Conch, was in. I don't know if you've seen Grand Army on Netflix, but one of the characters was Haitian, and her family was Haitian, and the scenes in the family, in that character's family, whenever she was home, they were talking Creole. I was like, my mind was blown. I could not believe I was watching like a show, an American show on Netflix, and people were talking Creole. There was a character who's Haitian, and it wasn't about voodoo, and it wasn't about something, crazy. It was just, that was, so that's like, I think that's progress. And there's, ironically, in theater, and theater has to catch up. I think it's getting better in film. I know there was another show on Netflix, Startup, with a Haitian character, and I see it more and more. I see it pop up more and more, and what I would like to see is just in general that film and television is truly represents the makeup of this country. We're the majority. People of color are the majority. So it shouldn't be something rare when we see, when there's representation. I would like it to just be the norm. And
absolutely.
Yeah. So, but I'm hopeful. I think it's getting better slowly but surely. Yeah.
No question. Definitely. Well, we appreciate you taking some time out from your busy schedule. We've been talking to Ms. France-Luce Benson, artist, creator, playwright, writer extraordinaire, and you can catch her this year at the Conch International Film Festival 2022. And for those who would like to see more of your work and explore some more of the things that you do, let them know your website, social medias, and so forth.
Sure. My website, www.franc-luce whatever, how many W's? France is very easy, francelucebenson.com. And I'm on Instagram. My handle is Luce, Luce, loves light. And you can read some of my plays on the New Play Exchange, if you look up New Play Exchange. I mean, I'm on Twitter, but I'm not that active on Twitter. But you can find me. You know, you could DM me if you wanna, find out where I'm at, what I'm doing. But yeah, that's pretty much where you can find me.
Gotcha. Well, thank you once again for taking some time out, and we definitely appreciated it, and learning some more about you and the things that you're working on, and looking forward to that show that you're doing and some more things in the future, and actually seeing you this year in the festival. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you for having me. This was great.
Take care. Have a great evening. It's Thermal Soundwaves, the natural alternative to fast food radio. Yes, indeed. The C.Truth here with you. We are doing a special this segment on all of those who are creatives involved with the Conch International Film Festival this year. And it could be filmmakers, writers, directors, actors, playwrights, producers, the list goes on and on and on. We're highlighting some of those people who are involved with the festival this year, and those who are also doing master classes as well, and so forth. So I hope you've been enjoying what we've been doing with those folks and those individuals. And make sure you check out the festival. Go to ConchIFF.com to get your festival passes and to find out more information. All right, C.Truth, Thermal Soundwaves, the natural alternative to fast food radio. Until next time, I say peace.